Oh snap, this is part 2. Watch part 1 first. Okay, let's go. Kicking off part 2 is the team that received the most extreme fall from grace of any from the previous game. The Wild Pig strategy invokes forsaking contact and defense in favor of speed, power, and pitching. In 2, this was absolutely ideal. Contact had minimal impact compared to what it now is, and even poorly rated fielders usually came up with difficult plays. Not so in 3. These 2 stats represent the biggest meta shifts the new game experienced, and our piggies were left the victims in the developers' merciless wake. They scrambled to adjust, picking up a strong defensive contact specialist catcher and another glove and contact hitter to go up the middle with their franchise man, Blue Michaels. Sadly, it wasn't enough to hang with the other teams who possessed better prior preparation. The Pigs are now forced to lean heavily on the remaining portion of their blueprint: consistent, reliable pitching. Their 11th rotation and 9th pen may not seem like much, but not a lot of teams manage decent ranks in both categories, so this adds up to 5th overall pitching performers. Still, it's hard not to pity the Wild Pigs, who thought they had the meta figured out only to have it pulled out from under them, facilitating their tumble from former top tier to 14th in the game. Wait, weren't the Herbivores 14th? Not anymore, they've been promoted. So many surprises in this video. The sheer contrast between this team and the last is astounding. Despite ranking closely in overall effectiveness, the Buzzards could not have gotten there much more differently than did the Wild Pigs. They sport modest power and fairly high contact, and they were more than prepared for the meta to greater complement defense. The comparisons don't end there. While the Pigs achieve excellent pitching with consistency throughout their staff, the Buzzards achieve porous pitching with consistently underwhelming arms throughout their 19th rated staff, with the notable exception of stud reliever Max Texas. The Birdmen seek to nullify this by saving the runs with their gloves and simply outperforming the competition with their own offensive play. Jacques Sawteeth, their starting catcher, is the best all-around at the position in the league. The downside of having one of your elites patrolling the pitching staff is that their fitness will require rejuvenation. On Jacques' off days, the Buzzards take a bigger hit than any other team. With their lineup-focused roster, the Buzzards land 12th this time, back from 10th previously, but this is about equal given league expansion. While balanced overall, the Sawteeth have some nuances that give their play uniqueness. For example, they have Pex Flex on the roster, way too good to be delegated to only a backup catcher role. But then what do you do with Junior Young Sr.? In center field, you have Slash Trips, elite speed, but you're dealing with a pitiful arm in the middle of your outfield. Similarly, John Renero is nearly an all-around great player, but that arm at shortstop is horrendous. And yet, the apparently balanced lineup comes in right down the middle at rank 10. The pitching staff is bullpen leaning, with the relievers scoring 6th best honors, and the starters disappointing with 16th. Of course, this averages out to an even 10 for them again, proving that while they have their holes, everything adds up to average. There are a lot of great position players rostered on this team, but the cohesiveness is a bit off. If you want the challenge of stretching your creativity when crafting your daily lineup, the Sawteeth are an easy recommendation. Whatever you decide, you're likely to come up with something about average. The Sawteeth make a strong push up to the middle of the pack at 11th in SMB3, coming from way back in 13th. Time to delve into the top half of SMB3 teams. The first top 10 entry is a team whose complete focus is dirty dealing from the mound. It's the Moonstars, proudly sporting the best starting rotation and the best pitching staff overall in the league. The Moonstars seek to pulverize the opponent's hitters into sheer submission and then quietly sneak in a run or two to secure themselves victory. And they will need to rely on their arms because the lineup is much less impressive. They've probably wisely sacrificed peripheral defense to squeeze what bats they could into their order while still managing to insert great defense in the crucial spots up the middle. Despite this calculation, their position players come in second to worst overall. It is a pitcher-focused team. Theirs is among the more unique play styles that actually pan out to some success. I've been experiencing it firsthand in my recent gameplay series of a Moonstars season. I'll link an entry in the description. Check it out after this. My gameplay is hype. The Moonstars are a top 10 team in SMB3, quite an achievement after the previous ranking of 3rd worst. Extreme is the word to describe everything about the Jacks. They're extremely good hitters. They're extremely slow. Their relievers are extremely good. Perhaps the most extreme quality about this team, and one to keep in mind when playing as them, is their rotation is extremely awful. Their 1 plays like a 2. Their 2 like a 4. Their 3 like a 6. And their 4 Like a position player. Seriously, Bella Mietball is the worst pitcher in the league, but a great fielder and the best hitting pitcher. The key for the Jacks is to pull the plug on the rotation at just the right time so as to limit the damage on the scoreboard while also limiting the ask placed on their excellent 4th rated bullpen to something sustainable. And when they do come in, it's going to be quite the adjustment for the opposition, going from BP speed pitching to fireballs. They have the hitters, 3rd best overall, to keep the scoreboard keeper busy in their half of the inning. However, they will have to either string several hits together or put one over the wall because it's station-to-station ball for the lumbering Jacks. They're slow. But if you play to their strengths, they can succeed. The gap up to 9th is a difference of 217, the largest we will see on the list, so you know we're jumping up to B tier, which is where the Jacks will make their SMB tier list debut. Another pitching team gets into the top 10, but whereas the Moonstars got there with an amazing rotation and quite a good pen, the Freebooters arrive with their decent rotation, better at the top than further down, and their absolutely ridiculous pen. These 4 are an insane quartet. They gap up in rating big time over the 2nd place Sandcats pen. You had better get your runs early when facing the Freebies, or it's curtains for your winning hopes. Their lineup guys match their rotation's ranking of 13. It has very strong hitters at the top, but does experience a taper toward the end. The starting 8 are more offense-focused. Their defense is atrocious, actually. They will rely on their pitchers to get them some balls that are easily handled. But their run prevention should still be a tremendous strength with their unfair pitching staff. While second to the Moonstars, they could perhaps more accurately be described as 1B, coming in only 8 points the trailer, whereas the next team down is back 271. Quite the gap. The Freebooters have high achievement potential and win themselves the number 8 ranking this time, making the jump up from 11th. Former Overdogs star Marsha Brown betrayed the Canines and migrated to the expansion Sandcats in SMB3, and I thought the Chalkers, being known for their stars, would be taking a step back as a result. Luckily for the ODs, while they experienced the biggest subtraction in the new title, they also received the prize edition. Sack DeSong joins the Overdogs stars Rhonda Horn and Anton Goodwood to create a powerful first inning threat in their offense first lineup. Their bats are excellent, enabling them to reach base and begin the process of zooming around the bags with their top-level briskness. They are not known for their gloves nor their throwing arms. The latter is consistently subpar at each position across the diamond. This isn't a franchise list, but the Dojas notably have the highest cap space at the start of franchise, thanks to their humbly crafted pitching staff, who are serviceable with the 14th rotation picked up by the 10th pen to achieve a total pitching ranking dead center at 11th. They don't have any standout, aka expensive, starters or relievers, but instead are crafted as formidable, though fallible, up and down. Formerly falling in 6th, the Overdogs maintained their capabilities and are now similarly ranked as 7th. That's it for the Part 2 teams. Let's see your predictions for the top 6 down below. And as always, tell me which teams I overrate, and why your favorite deserves better than I gave them. Those are my favorite comments. Thanks for watching, and thanks for liking. Oh, and thanks for subscribing. You're one of the real ones.